General James Mattis, the Secretary of Defense, known as Mad Dog in the administration, testified before Congress that there is no evidence at this time that Syrian President Bashar al-Assad carried out the chemical attack in Ghouta that allegedly killed over 100 people. Now, when Bashar al-Assad was accused of using chemical weapons in the past, starting in 2013, General Mattis referred to both of those previous incidents as unsolved mysteries, meaning no confirmation that Bashar al-Assad was responsible for those chemical attacks. There is evidence in this case that this attack was staged by the rebels. In fact, the Russians said through their military just last month that some of the rebels were moving into Ghouta with people that they had taken from other areas, and these people were going to be forced to be the victims of a staged attack. Now, it's quite possible that some of these people were in fact killed by the opposition forces. In fact, they've done it before. When the UN was sent in 2013 into Syria, Carla Del Ponte, who is part of the UN Commission, now keep in mind, this is the United Nations, a very progressive organization. And this woman, who had previously been the Swiss Attorney General and a prosecutor at The Hague in the Slobodan Milosevic case, so a very tough person, she gave an interview in Italian in which she said, "This was use on the part of the opposition, the rebels, not by the government authorities." Interesting. So even the UN acknowledged that the 2013 attack was staged by the rebels. Well, why is it that the US deep state, the US intelligence agencies are so determined to support the rebels in this claim? The answer has to do with John Kerry. John Kerry, who met with King Abdullah when he was Secretary of State in the King's mansion on the Red Sea, made a secret deal with the Saudis. The Saudis would help the United States with some anti-terrorism measures, but in return, the United States had to commit to toppling Bashar al-Assad. Well, that was the previous administration, and this is the new one. President Donald Trump does not seem poised to invade Syria, and if there is going to be some kind of airstrike, the days are going by and the president is not doing anything. And these people in the foreign policy establishment are getting very concerned that perhaps the president is sticking to his guns and refusing to start a war in Syria, just as the Obama administration and Hillary started a war. In August 2012, Hillary Clinton at her State Department received a top-secret memo. It stated the following about the rebellion in Syria. The Salafist, the Muslim Brotherhood, and AQI, meaning Al-Qaeda in Iraq, are the major forces driving the insurgency in Syria. The West, Gulf countries, and Turkey support the opposition, while China, Russia, and Iran support the regime. The Al-Qaeda in Iraq, at the time, their spokesman was a man named Mohammed al-Adnani, who is now the spokesman for ISIS. He was until he was killed in a US-Russian airstrike. And Al-Qaeda in Iraq directly evolved into ISIS. In fact, at the time, it was already using the name Islamic State of Iraq in some areas in Syria. So the United States under Kerry, under Obama, under Hillary, they were supporting these rebels, these jihadists, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, the Muslim Brotherhood. President Donald Trump does not need to go in and provide Air Force service for Al-Qaeda and ISIS. The United States has done a tremendous job knocking out ISIS in recent months under President Trump. Why would the United States want to undo all of that progress by destabilizing the region and allowing the terrorists to take hold again? No, my friends, there is a different agenda here at work. And President Donald Trump needs to stick to his guns and tell these neocon lawmakers and tell John Bolton, we are not going to war in Syria.